Thank you so much for tuning in to Free For All, your source for all things geek. I am Josh Barnett, one of your hosts. That dude's raising the house, the roof as well.
Raising the house?
Evan Swafford,
Like an
I was
Amishman?
so close. Every week I fuck up somewhere different, and it makes me sad every week. Evan Swafford's raising the roof.
Woo!
Chuck Nally is not saying anything?
It's because I feel like there's someone in here with us. Oh, hey. It's my lovely wife, Kristen. Hello. Hello, everyone else. And Kristen.
I thought you were just either making it up or there was like an invisible person, and that's Trey Elliott.
Yo, am I the invisible person?
I mean, sometimes I wish.
I mean, right back at you.
Yeah. Mutual feelings, man.
That doesn't mean you sons of bitches can't talk, though. We can't hear you.
This means we
I
can't.
mean, we
Say
can
that
talk.
again with more pizza in your mouth?
We just can't beat a way out. That's the only thing we definitely can't do.
No, we definitely can't do that. We're close, though.
It's not
Aren't
like
we, though?
I mean,
Got
I
like an
hope.
hour and a half,
years
2 hours
away.
left.
Do we really?
It's
You
not
are
like
not that far. You're like 4 hours into the game. It's a 6-hour game.
Where did we last do?
You're at the,
We're at the
hospital. Why do I know more about this than you?
No, we finished the hospital.
That was like basically, yeah, where we're at, though. I mean, we didn't go past that.
It's not like we couldn't still hear you guys. We can just talk. No.
This is quality radio.
That's how you podcast.
But he told
Is
me
it, though?
He told me to say it with more pizza in my mouth.
I did tell him that.
Check.
Well,
Mate.
Blame the
Josh's
host.
fault. Great.
That's just pretty much how my life goes. How's everybody else's life going? Hooray.
Pretty good.
I don't care.
Yeah, pretty well.
I, for the first time in my life, have an over 700 credit score.
Hey.
So that's,
You heard that, Internet. Get on it.
yeah, somebody stole my identity.
That's why I like mine at a nice, solid, like, 470.
Do you have any idea what your credit score is?
Last I checked, it was almost 6.
I mean, you don't have to tell me. I'm just asking
Almost
if you
almost
actually
6. I was trending in the right direction.
Yeah, so that was good. And then I went on a little, right before
He
school
went out of
started
town.
back vacation. I did go out of town, Chuck.
Was it on the weekend?
It was on the weekend.
It's all Chuck's fault.
Where'd you go?
I went to Chuck's home away from home. I went to Pigeon Forge.
Ah.
Not to Dollywood, though. We went to this place called Wilderness at the Smokies.
Yeah.
It's like a giant resort with a couple of water parks and a giant arcade and stuff.
It's really Sevierville.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's before you get into Pigeon Forge.
Fair enough. Same difference, really, though.
Come on.
No one gives a shit about Sevierville.
Yeah, they do.
Um,
Because the wilderness is there.
Isn't that also where apparently the world's largest flea market is?
Yep.
Remember we talked about this like 2 years ago.
Uh-huh.
I want to go back to Pigeon Forge.
Yeah.
I want to get into the cabin.
It's fun. That place, I think I would not stay again, though. It's the room, just for one night, that room was $600.
Whoa.
I mean,
That's
granted,
that
we had,
700 credit score.
we, we had 6 of
700
us.
credit score. Jack it up.
we had,
He
Josh
can
would
afford
only pay
it.
$400 for that room, but
You pauper.
but no, it was me, my mom, Brittany, Lane, my sister, and her husband. So, and it was a like basically 2 hotel rooms put together. But
Right.
That
How
sounds
much,
like a
how much did
nightmare.
Lane contribute?
Yes.
so what?
How much did Lane contribute?
Oh, most of it.
Okay, good.
Yeah. But no, the water parks were really cool. The arcade was really awesome. We'll talk about that a little bit later. There's like a
How was
whole
the
ropes
golf?
course. The putt-putt was great. I did that. I did not play any golf. They do have like 2 18-hole courses on the property there, but I'm not ready for that.
Yeah, I've always wanted to go.
That actually raises a question.
Does it raise the roof?
Or the house.
It doesn't raise the house. Very few things can raise the house quite like Evan Swafford. Is it always putt-putt to you? Is it also miniature golf in certain situations, or is it just a regional thing?
It's putt-putt.
Oh, no matter what?
Yeah, I always call it putt-putt.
I mean, those
That sounds
yeah,
like an FFA poll.
those 2 things
Actually
are the
is.
same.
That's a pretty good FFA.
I used
Putt
to-
is the Kleenex of miniature golf.
Well, I used to call it because there was in Chattanooga. It was the only like putt-putt place anywhere close. It was Sir Goonies down there, over
Right.
off Brainerd.
Yeah, looks like people die there.
So no, it's fun there.
I mean, I haven't seen
It's
it.
the worst.
I haven't gone in, but
It
it
is
definitely
the
looks
worst.
like
It's a good time.
it looks like tetanus wrapped in just
So I
all
got-
sorts of bloodborne
I
That's
grew-
where
illnesses.
hepatitis was invented.
I grew up calling that's Lake Wimbisoka. Let's be honest.
There's
Uh,
a tunnel connection.
I grew up calling it Goonie Golf because of that.
Oh,
But then I evolved into its real name. It's putt-putt.
I had an actual, where I lived in Ohio, we had an actual putt-putt golf. So I definitely grew up calling it putt-putt and still do. I'll call it miniature golf every now and then. I mean, they're obviously interchangeable terms, but putt-putt is just the,
I don't feel they are.
they totally are. Putt-putt is just a brand.
So
Just like again, Kleenex with facial tissue.
Xerox.
I mean, you put once and you
Xerox
put it
with-
again.
the delineation that I've always had in my brain, and maybe I'm the only person to think this way, but I
Probably.
think there are two very clear styles of miniature golf like that. I think there are the ones that take it a little bit too seriously, that are just like
hillbilly golf.
sure. No, the ones that like don't have the like giant obstacles. They're just kind of little putting greens that have different slopes and different like greens to read, but they're not like
That just
the
means they didn't have
family
enough
outing.
money to put up a windmill.
I mean, there are some that take it pretty seriously, but yeah, then there are the ones like the one that we went to in Pigeon Forge.
So which one is putt putt?
Putt Putt is the more fun one. It's the one with like the windmill and the clown.
So
and
it's
everything
not
else.
miniature golf unless
Miniature
it's
golf
like
to me
serious.
feels miniature golf to me feels.
What about
Unless it's a
Where
skins
is the
game.
closest place where you can?
what
It
about
was
neon?
something we saw more up north.
What about neon golf?
I was gonna say I've never been to a miniature golf place where there's not an obstacle on the.
I've been to a bunch.
It's still not really miniature golf.
Yeah, I know, but you know what I'm
Because
saying? Like maybe that
the
was just me
putters
as
are
a
the same
kid.
size and the balls are the same size. You idiot.
It's your fault.
I'm so glad I asked this question.
Where did you think this was going?
I don't know. I thought that, you know what? I don't care.
Like we all like in the South,
mini
all
golf are the same
soft
thing.
drinks are Coke, right?
I mean, up-
no, that's not right. We
I
know
mean-
that, but that's just a common vernacular
Yeah.
down here.
That's kind of an East Coast thing. Soda as well.
soda,
was
pop,
a little bit more north.
It's just different things.
Yeah.
Pop was more toward the Midwest.
Chapstick is like that. Q-tips are like that.
Yeah.
Like there's a ton of stuff where
Tupac, Biggie.
yeah, all those are brand names.
You know what's up.
People just call rap Tupac.
Yeah.
You guys didn't know that?
You guys listen to Tupac? Yeah. There's confusion coming after that.
There is.
I'm confused now, and I'm here at the beginning of that horrible idea. Everybody else have a good week?
It's all right.
Credit score good?
Yeah. 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 Been good. I'm running the nursery this week.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, my-
Solo?
Yeah, my dad and my
A Star
production
Wars
manager are in Portland. I did not
Oh,
go
that's
this
right.
year
You skipped the,
because I have
the
a
trip.
baby due next month.
That's fair. Plus, this is more important.
So today was a nightmare.
I can only
But
imagine.
Sounds fun.
We were quite busy.
You know what helps me get through a long day? Just listen to a little Tupac.
That's fair. It's fair.
See, I call it Biggie.
Gangster Tupac is what I prefer.
Some Biggie Tupac is good.
Yeah.
Don't like anything that's happening right now. I just want you guys to know
How about this?
officially.
How
Go
about
ahead.
the results of our last FFA poll?
What are those, Chuck? What was the poll, first of all?
Thousands
what's
of votes.
better?
You
The
a-hole?
yes, of course.
Thousands of votes.
Actually, maybe we should change our poll to thousands of votes.
Oh, 100%.
Anyway. What's better, the Mission Impossible franchise or the Fast and the Furious franchise?
Go on.
Oh, Mission Impossible won that. Or
Mission
wasn't
Im-
there a Bond choice?
There was a third option. There was
Doesn't
either
sound
Mission
like it won.
Impossible, Fast and the Furious, or just give me Bond. 13% for Fast and the Furious, 38% for Mission Impossible, 49%, sir, for Bond.
You got it right, folks. You got it
Thousands
right.
of votes.
You're not right.
49,000.
You're half not wrong, though. I would put... No, I'd probably have Fast and Furious over
Wait,
Bond as well.
I have a bonus one because
Ooh.
what's a douchier name for a movie theater subscription? Movie Pass or A-List?
It's got to be A-list.
Is a 58% A-List, and then 25% it's a tie. They're both douchey.
I bet if you asked that now, it would probably be Movie Pass, because they're douchey now.
No, it's not.
I'm angry.
Oh, I
Yeah,
forgot
it's
about this one.
ridiculous.
It
It's
took until
ridiculous.
now to make me angry, but it makes me
It's
angry.
ridiculous that you're angry over this.
I've got one last one. It's the first ever 100%. Does Dangerous Precedent sound like a direct to Redbox Wesley Snipes movie?
Yeah.
100%. Thousands of votes on this, guys. It's unbelievable.
No, I'd like
we could
to
have
think
a
that
million votes in
one...
that, and it would be yes.
I'd like to think that one was actually just Wesley Snipes voting yes.
He's like, yeah.
Call my agent.
They're already making part 2.
What was his show
That's when he answers back.
a couple years back?
We don't do business with you anymore. What?
What was his show a couple years
The
back?
player.
The player in
Yeah.
Vegas.
Yeah. Trey, you liked that, didn't you?
I love that
I
show.
don't think I ever watched
All
it.
3 episodes of it.
That's all they aired?
It was like 3 or 5 or something.
They had to clear the way for Rosewood.
No, he didn't.
Man, I loved Rosewood.
They started, I think, at the same time.
I know
actually.
they did. It was that same year, and I know Trey really liked it. Anyway, it's an unusually quick turnaround for a video game show. That's why I'm doing such a fantastic job hosting today. We gotta say
Vamp.
we
Constant vamping.
Yeah, I mean, really, it's going to be more interesting than the news.
love
But
that
let's
song.
get into it.
Constant vamping.
A constant.
Okay, yeah.
Hello.
Can I finish?
I
Can I
would
finish?
wish that you would
Can
say
I finish?
something.
Can I finish?
Jesus.
Can I finish?
Tired of carrying
Do I have
this.
to do everything?
So we got a couple of big games coming up that are going to be bypassing the usual delivery structure on their chosen platform. Epic has revealed that the upcoming Android version of Fortnite, and it's already killing it, making millions of dollars daily with Fortnite Battle Royale on iOS, is going to be completely skipping the Android marketplace. It is going to be released directly through Epic Games. They are going to basically be keeping 100% of their proceeds.
Take that.
So this apparently there was a little bit more of a release in terms of the statement there. They were pretty upfront about the way that this all is going through in terms of how they're going to be protecting the consumer a little bit more than they feel they can through the Google Play Store.
Right.
They're able to control how payments are done, whether recurring payments or blind payments can be made. Essentially, if you don't have a payment system or payment method set up through your Fortnite account directly, you can't purchase anything through the app itself. So
So-
basically, kids can't get on the phone and say, "Oh, I want to get this season's battle pass and spend $20 of mom and dad's money."
Right.
Which I'm assuming is probably happening a lot on
A
iOS.
lot.
Um,
Evidently, parents are getting their kids tutors for Fortnite.
Yeah, I saw
saw
that,
that.
too. It's ridiculous. But hey, professional gaming is a thing. We'll talk about that actually a little bit later as well. Why not get them good while they can?
Do you
It's
ever
also-
do you ever think that Epic is like, what the fuck, guys? I mean, thanks,
we just wanted to
but
copy PUBG, but
Yeah,
all right.
We totally stole this game, but thank you.
I mean, it's good for them. That game is a juggernaut like I never thought it would be, which is insane.
What? That's cool news.
Yeah, we talked about it earlier
When?
You
On-
scroll up.
on the app.
Oh, I haven't been looking at that today.
Yeah, it's fair.
Working.
Yeah, she's a CW level actress.
I think it's good casting.
I think it could be really cool. But we'll talk about that next week.
Mm-hmm.
It's not this time. The other game, though, Chuck is interested in, Fallout 76.
What is this game that you say?
Tell me more.
Well, it takes place in the Fallout universe, and nobody knows exactly what it is yet because everybody is confused. But hopefully the beta coming up, Break It early test application,
Shake it, don't break it.
yes, is actually apparently 100% the full game. Your progress will carry over to the game.
Thank God.
And in similar news, they're bypassing Steam altogether and releasing it directly through Bethesda.net.
That's
which-
an interesting
all right.
choice. That's the first Bethesda game they haven't released on Steam.
Is the beta only on PC?
No.
No, it's
It's
console.
coming. It's coming to console as well. You only get potentially invited if you pre-order.
Here's the
which is
problem.
interesting.
It's expected to drop like right at the same time as Red Dead.
Mhm. Yeah, it's like a week or a week and a half maybe before the game actually releases. Less a beta stress test and more just a, I guess, get in early,
Yeah, it feels like early access more than a beta.
Yeah.
which is
Also-
interesting.
Shouldn't we have seen more from Red Dead at this point?
No, that's how they do that.
They normally
like-
would have released at least kind of one deeper dive trailer. I think they're just being intentionally quiet. I don't think the game is going to get delayed at this point. But I will
not.
agree with you that it definitely feels a little bit less than Rockstar normally does, but they're also notoriously quiet about their games.
No, they are. But I remember at one point,
We should know something about the multiplayer.
I saw some like actual gameplay.
I don't
of
think
GTA.
that's right. I've been saying that.
Yeah,
I don't even think there will be
multiplayer.
multiplayer at launch.
Oh, I don't either.
There's a bunch, like almost everywhere you pre-order, there's multiplayer stuff that comes with the pre-order.
Yeah, I think it will be there. I just
Oh.
don't think it's going to be
I
ready.
definitely can see them delaying.
They would have done a
6
multiplayer
months.
trailer by now.
I just am surprised we don't have like a single player gameplay. Like
Grand Theft Auto
walkthrough.
5 did do that like weird
I got to see it at
voiceover
GameStop's
trailer.
conference, and then that was
And
obviously.
that was also when they like broke
September.
down online and they did the whole like guy standing in the like upscale apartment and they showed like
they did more for
the
that
cars
because
and
of
helicopters,
online. Yeah,
So I mean I don't know. I
which
agree
was
that
brand new.
I thought we would have more, but I'm not scared for that game's release at this point. I also don't think that I think they realize they don't need to do a whole lot to get the sales they want.
No, 'cause
Yeah.
Grand Theft Auto 5 is a sales juggernaut.
Still in the top 10 almost every month.
It's the best-selling game of all time.
It's pretty crazy. I don't think Red Dead hits that level, but I
No,
think
it
it's
won't.
going to be definitely in the top 2 selling games this year. I can't even think of really what would compete with it.
Oh, I think it'll be the best selling game of the year.
Mainly because it's multi-platform, but
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
trying to think. I mean, I guess if you're counting like subscriptions to Battle Pass and Fortnite, probably. But,
well, yeah, that would be. But
Yeah, it's
Even
it's
then, they
interesting
probably
either way.
compete with it.
But I mean, I don't know. Bypassing Steam is interesting. It's to me more interesting the fact that we're talking about 100% of the game being available with definitely hundreds of hours prior to it being released. So technically, people could get out there and spoil it in advance, based off of the beta, which is really interesting. It makes me wonder exactly how narrative focused the game is.
No doubt, very.
Which I get. They said every person you see is going to be player controlled, so maybe there's not a whole lot of storytelling, but that's kind of what I was excited for, is a multiplayer centric story game in this. Like, the reason I was planning on buying it was I still wanted to experience the best part of Fallout, which in my opinion is the story. But being able to play it with friends.
I
So
think there'll be like story quests and with not probably a huge overarching story.
like, is that all told through like the vault almost? Like, in other words, like maybe Vault-Tec relayed messages and things like that through
Destiny style.
Well, but I'm saying that's what there's. If what they say holds true, and every single human in that game is player controlled,
Mm-hmm.
they don't really have a way to do that.
I mean,
through
automated
computers
machines, yeah.
and
Well, that's what I was asking. Is,
robots
yeah.
and stuff.
yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Oh, okay, yeah, because Destiny style to me is like you're still going to people to get those quests. That's what threw me off. My bad.
Yeah.
NPC characters. Either way,
Also, pre-order it so you can get the beta. Stop bitching.
Then you'll know.
Don't worry about spoilers.
okay,
Absorb.
take that, people. Was that directed at me? Because
Do you
Probably.
Want it, do you want it to be?
yeah, sure.
Okay. Have you pre-ordered it yet?
I have not.
That's a dumb thing that you haven't done then.
All right, there you go.
Nailed it.
Thank you.
That is this week's segment of Chuck as fuck. Remember NBA Playgrounds?
Yeah.
I do.
Remember
Sorta.
2K games?
I do.
Oh, yeah.
What if those two hands got put together?
Huzzah.
Indeed, right? NBA Playgrounds 2 that's coming out later this year is now NBA Playgrounds 2K. Or it's
2K
called
Oh,
2K
shit.
Playgrounds.
Turns out 2K makes good basketball games, so I'm all right with that.
Yeah, I hope
Because
that
the original Playgrounds was a bit janky as fuck.
Wait,
people
hang on.
enjoyed it. Go ahead.
You need to give that again because you totally steamrolled Trey's little drop in there.
No,
So-
it's not
no,
going to be
no.
the same.
Go ahead.
Do you remember NBA Playgrounds?
No, you've already fucked it up.
Oh.
I tried.
Oh, shit.
You just got to say the line about EA or whatever, NBA Playgrounds 2K.
No, I want to
Then
do
yell,
the whole
"Oh, shit."
spiel. The whole spiel.
I don't remember all that.
All
you
you had to
only
do
had
was
to say
listen.
was yes.
This is a train wreck.
I am
Have you guys, by any chance, seen the new episode of Yo MTV Tupacs?
No, I haven't.
How long have you just been waiting?
Like,
2-3 minutes.
yeah, a few minutes at least on
I've been
that.
trying to, time it just
You
right.
casually worked it in.
Yeah.
I
So-
haven't, but I have heard of Yo MTV Biggies.
That's a terrible show.
That's the West Coast,
It's
baby.
not even. No, it's not
That's
even called the
Pacific.
right thing.
You're going to shoot his show.
Yeah, I am.
It's not my show. It's
Allegedly,
not carried away.
there's no proof. Also, they're both still alive.
Hanging out with Elvis.
Tekken 7 got some interesting news this week. Evo was this past
Negan!
weekend. Yeah. The Walking Dead's Negan is joining Tekken.
Sure.
That makes sense.
Apparently
Ish.
based on the show, so based on the Jeffrey Dean Morgan version.
Does he get
Um,
money for that?
Probably.
Oh, man. He's in a lot of little tiny things. He's probably got a lot of money. More than us, anyway.
Oh, God, yeah.
He's a
His
professional
credit
actor.
score is over
Yes.
700.
It's true story.
You don't know that.
I mean, I feel I can infer it.
He could be real bad at financials. Just a train
Just
wreck.
mortgaged out the ass.
He lives in a trailer, but that trailer happens to be in Atlanta on the lot for The Walking Dead.
He owns 5 houses, but they're all his baby mamas are living in them.
That's fair.
Does he have baby mama?
I would assume.
I mean,
like,
Jeffrey Dean
Jeffrey
Morgan.
Dean Morgan has at least 14 kids.
I'm on it.
He's Travis Henry level. I feel like it's just 100%.
He's the
Fat
white.
cheese?
He's the white Antonio Cromartie.
Steve.
Yeah, he's passed. He
Cromartie.
passed Travis Henry.
It's what does he have, like 21 kids?
It's like at least 16.
Stop fucking.
Wait, how many kids does
Just put a condom on, man.
No, at this point, stop. It's got to be raw. Just unacceptable.
Antonio.
Like he didn't even make an effort to not have kids.
10. Antonio Cromartie has 10 kids.
That's
that
a
doesn't
low
feel
ball
factual.
estimate. That's from like 2003.
Oh, wow. There's a guy, one of his kids is named Jersey Blue.
Oh God, that's
All right, we're
no,
moving
no, I
right
believe
the
it
fuck
now.
on.
How about Steve Harvey?
Steve Harvey. Does he have a lot of kids?
Nah, he just got faux.
You have to say "faux" like that. Felt a little bit uncomfortable.
Faux.
So, let's look at the Evo tournament here and talk a little bit more about some very interesting things that happened.
We should have got a live correspondence from Dave.
Yeah, I thought about Skyping him in because he was there. My friend
playing
Dave,
right now,
our
I
friend of
think.
the show, was there competing at Injustice and I think one other game. But the most interesting thing, in my opinion, that happened at Evo happened during the Super Smash Bros. Wii U grand finale. Did anybody see this story?
The guy that's given his winnings.
No. No,
'Cause
this
that,
is
I was
even
like,
better.
that guy's cool.
No, this is even better. So apparently, it's a long-held thought in the, or at least a hot-button topic in the fighting game community that Bayonetta
Oh,
is
yeah. She's
broken in
OP.
Smash and should be banned from tournament play, which Evo decided not to do and allow people to play.
Usually Dave is against the banning of people, though.
Yeah, I would be interested to actually hear his take. I meant to ask him, and
He usually
unfortunately
just
got caught
replies
up.
with "get better."
Text him.
That's fair. He's on an airplane right now. I don't want to crash his airplane.
Was that how that works?
Yes, if you text somebody while they're on a plane.
That can't be. Marshall Falk has 15.
That makes sense.
Oh my god.
That
Chuck
makes
is
a lot
just
of sense.
Looking up NFL players'
Ray
kids.
Lewis has
Cool.
14. Vlad Guerrero has 13. That's a
So-
mistake.
This story deals in esports players and their names, so it's going to sound a little bit douchey
All right.
as I get into it. But essentially, during the grand finals, at Evo this past weekend, the 16-year-old Captain Zack
That's about right.
made the finals with Bayonetta as his fighter, his
He
main.
got booed a lot.
And then Salem was the other player, also Bayonetta. Essentially, what happened was like 3 or 4 of the top 8 players were playing as Bayonetta, and it ended up as an all Bayonetta finals, which normally, I mean, if that happens, that doesn't seem that big a deal, but because it's already a contentious character, it became a big problem. They were booing anybody who played Bayonetta the entire tournament, basically,
Why is it a contentious?
because
character?
she's essentially overpowered.
Okay.
She's got this combo linking ability that people can abuse and make her incredibly hard to beat.
She's
Gotcha.
the odd job
Yeah.
of Smash.
Gotcha.
Pretty much that. He doesn't get that reference, though.
Also,
dude.
Bayonetta is the tits.
Bayonetta is pretty great. But anyway, the kid Captain Zack, who's 16-year-old and apparently has received death threats before or since this,
Shocker.
basically he flipped off the crowd after one of his matches when they were booing him. Then
Good for
apparently
him.
went backstage and tweeted, "Quit booing me like I give a damn." Basically really kind of
He
playing up
ruined
to it. Yeah, he did. Then
I mean, him tweeting that makes him give a damn, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
he should have
yes.
just walked off flipping them
Flipping
off.
The crowd was great, but the tweet
Yeah,
was
yeah.
too.
Then he became
much.
16 years old.
Yeah.
He should have just tweeted another picture of him giving the bird.
That would have been funny.
that would have been a little better. But the big kind of thing happened during the actual finale match where it was the 2 Bayonetta players against each other. They started taunting the crowd and like laughing and having fun up on stage, not attacking each other for like a couple of seconds at a time, people not knowing what was going on, like just standing there holding a specific move and not actually trying to attack each other, to the point where officials had to come out and tell them they were going to both be disqualified if they didn't actually start playing the game, and that the third place player was going to automatically win by
That
default.
guy was like, come on.
Yeah, man.
Half the crowd walked out in the middle of the match, which is insane. Like, it's people spend thousands of dollars to get to Evo every single year to join this tournament or just go and spectate. It's one of the biggest, most consistent esports events every single year. And for one of the main games that are there to just have half the crowd walk out in the middle of it, I think it's pretty insane.
It is pretty insane.
I think we need to blame Nintendo at this point, though, right?
I mean, I usually do.
Me too.
You gotta stereotype.
nerf your characters, man. Make it fair.
I mean,
They're not working on anything that's on the Wii U anymore.
yeah, that's probably true. They do release a game still
They don't
every
even
once in a
have
while.
access to that anymore.
They've been locked out of their own system.
They just closed it down.
They're like,
Okay.
I remember the Wii and I remember the Switch, but this Wii U?
No.
Something we did there for a couple
That
of
was
years.
a
What
bad
that
fever
called?
dream you just had.
I don't know if you guys know this, but the Wii U is actually going to outsell the Xbox One this generation.
That was the most wrong.
Yes, it's their lowest selling console of all time.
It didn't
even
go
break-
well.
Shit.
Wait,
Yeah.
even besides the VR,
So they didn't actually
Virtual Boy?
Nintendo released
The
these
Virtual
stats
Boy, yeah.
like last week. They didn't include Virtual Boy.
Of
but,
course they did it.
Um,
All 5.
Wii U
things
sold
that
like
they-
There were more cases of pink eye than there
I
was
played
of
the
Soul.
shit out of that in the Kmart where I was living in
Man.
Ohio.
I played it
at
in
the time.
Toys R
No
Us.
wonder your
I played it in
glasses are so thick.
Blockbuster.
I had 20/20 vision up until that Kmart.
I only
Had
ever
a
played the
good memory.
tennis game.
It was the one that was always demoed there.
Yeah.
I mean, nobody actually bought it.
No one.
Who wants to look into just a red freaking death gaze and like? It was disgusting. I hated.
Pretty much what Cyclops looks at all the time.
Ruby Red Quartz.
God, stop it.
Yeah, that Virtual
Stop
Boy
it right
sucks
now.
as much as Cyclops does.
Guy's so good.
Speaking of Smash Brothers, I really hate that we are recording tonight instead of tomorrow. There
The
is
direct.
a direct that's been announced for tomorrow at 10 Eastern Time, 10
I
a.m.
think they covered it all at E3.
You'd think, but again,
They
only
went over
announced-
every moveset in the game.
for the people we know about. They only announced 2 new characters. I don't expect we're going to get a whole lot.
If
of
they
new
do that
characters.
again,
No, they're not going to go over. Every
I will
individual
rage.
character. I actually could see them maybe pivoting and talking about ways they've changed in Altered Bayonetta because she is in this game as well. But I mean, I don't know. I'm interested to find out more. Hopefully,
Nintendo has never been that reactive. Not
That's
that
fair.
fast.
That's fair.
Maybe
Maybe
one of
they.
the new characters is Rob Barnett, and he just
That'd be
spews
incredible.
out Nintendo propaganda. That's
Just
his
like-
power set.
Oh God, I wish Rob was in Smash. That'd be amazing. He'd been my main.
Who would he?
Yeah.
All right, good for you. He probably still wouldn't be mine. No offense, Rob, but Link all the way. I don't know. I hope we get some new information. I hope we get at least like 2 or 3 new characters. I could see them also kind of pivoting to showing a little bit more of the online system they're about to start charging people for.
Are they? We've heard nothing about it.
I really hope they don't this year.
Yep. I bet you do.
They're gonna deep dive into party chat.
I'm sure they are.
They will never have party chat.
Correct.
Those sons of bitches. Even Rob is like, what are you doing? I give him credit. Even he is like, my God, Nintendo, nobody wants the stupid chat app.
You know what people do want for Nintendo though?
Mario?
Octopath Traveler.
It sold pretty well.
Yeah, it sold 1 million copies, which for an unknown IP, 2D/3D JRPG is pretty damn impressive.
Capcom now says they care more about games being
Good.
critical successes than they do financial successes.
Well,
and I said, bullshit.
So their quote, which was about Resident Evil 7, was more in reference to the fact that Resident Evil 7 underperformed compared to Resident Evil 6. I actually do believe them in the aspect of I can see it being more beneficial to them long term to have a game like Resident Evil 7 that is critically well received, still sells really well, but maybe sells 1 million or 2 less than the prior game because most people hated the prior game. I'm not saying they would be happier with 6 million versus 7 million, but I think they do covet. There is value these companies have in their scores.
I don't remember anything about Resident Evil 6 except for that person blowing the giraffe on the
I
cover.
mean, that's really all you need to know.
Yeah, I mean, he's right.
I don't remember anything else about that game.
But people remember Resident Evil 7. People really, really enjoyed it. And it's
was
like
very
It's
one
on
of those
like
different,
things-
too.
every platform too, including
even the
VR.
Switch. You can stream it from Japan.
Oh,
You can pay like $20 to essentially rent, and it's streaming.
It's the
it.
most
it's sort of on the
asinine thing
Switch.
I've ever seen in my life.
But you know what? Good on them.
how is it, Josh?
I mean, just not gonna be
If
the person who
anybody's gonna
played
do
that.
it, it's
They'll
gonna
do
be
Rob
you.
Barnett.
Well,
that is Rob.
the second.
No,
Anyway.
no, not me. But speaking of streaming gaming, thank you for the segue there.
Yeah.
Xbox Scarlet
It feels
and
good.
Scarlet Cloud. So
Allegedly.
we've got
Scarlet
some
Cloud sounds just like a terrible porn star name.
or
does.
a great one.
Scarlet
Also-
anything sounds like a porn star name.
I really
Or like
appreciate
an
re-adding
oncoming
me into the
DD
group
store.
chat. So that all day yesterday, when trying to open up my phone and see what you guys were talking about, I just had Riley Reed's ass on my screen all day long.
You
That-
can just hide
Nobody
it.
else. I tried, and every time I clicked it, it opened up the fucking GIF.
No, you
Ah,
hold it.
decades.
You don't touch it. You touch and hold.
I'm not gonna be that
You
guy.
gotta touch and hold the ass.
Yeah.
That's Cody's handiwork.
It was all day long. 'Cause
Cody
nobody was
rivals
saying
Chuck
it.
on his love of
Random
porn
body
stars.
parts in that fucking feed. It happens
It's a good
all
thing
the
I'm
time.
not completely surrounded by women in my office.
Because the last time that
Learn how to
happened,
hide that shit.
Boone was like, "How do I get rid of these?"
Yeah.
It's because he was sitting with Candace. Normally he posts stuff
He
like that.
absolutely was sitting with Candace.
I just have my iPad out at work, so that shit is very large on my iPad screen.
And you don't care,
Some
do you?
porn stars
Oh
more
yeah,
than
I
others.
care. I'm not gonna get
Sure.
fucking called into HR's office because someone posted Riley Reed's ass in our group chat. I hide that shit.
What if it was somebody else?
You hide it, but you save it for later.
What if it was Mia
I mean, I
Khalifa?
can unhide it, sure.
What
So
if it was Mia Khalifa and you get promoted?
Maybe?
I don't like her.
She don't like you either.
I'm
She
sure.
doesn't like most people, it turns out.
Yeah,
She
she's
likes
a
the Redskins.
raging
She is-
bitch.
Really regrets being a porn star.
Yeah.
I mean, I can understand
I
that.
can
It was
too.
her own decision and her choice, but I can understand feeling regret.
Yeah. I mean, she wouldn't have
She worked a lot in
any
those couple
of
months,
where
though.
she is now without
Well,
doing porn.
Yeah, porn stars work a lot, it turns out.
Yeah. Which
That's
is
why
just,
I had
they're
no
not
idea
shooting
this
one
is where
movie
this
a year.
conversation
it's
was
just
gonna go.
interesting.
did this. You feel good about it?
I felt better.
You know, she's actually hosting a sports-based podcast for Rooster Teeth now.
I do know that.
I mean,
And
she's
it-
a
yeah,
Caps
I'd seen
fan, so
something
It
like
I'm,
that.
infuriates me.
she's a Caps fan, so I'm like automatically like, all right, cool. But she also likes the Redskins, so
That means she's also offering to perform sexual acts for Caps players, so good for them, I guess. She does it all the time. She's going to get in trouble with the NCAA. She's a FSU fan and keeps offering sexual favors for recruits.
Is
I
that
did
like,
not know that.
recent? I know I've heard that, but I thought that was
FSU's
years
told
ago.
her to stop.
Or question: is FSU still taking like apps?
like TJ
Does the
Friday
water
apps
boy get this
or
offer?
Half price apps?
Yeah,
or-
all of it.
all day apps.
Whatever it takes.
Remember when they tried that a couple years ago?
They're not called TGI Fridays anymore. They're just called Fridays.
Yeah, but I like to be old school sometimes.
There's no school like the new school.
New school biggie.
I'm out of this.
It's pronounced Tupac.
All right, let's go into kind of the biggest or one of the biggest stories.
What were we talking about?
I don't remember.
Riley
What was
Reid.
the last story?
Riley Reid. Nintendo stuff.
We never
Octopath
talked
Traveler.
about.
Octopath Traveler.
No,
sold
we
a million
didn't talk about the
copies.
new Xbox console. It's what it was.
That
Oh,
was
yeah.
what it was. Yeah. So
Thank God you're hosting.
look, you guys are dragging me in all different directions today.
Oh, speaking of that, did you guys see where you can win a free gold-plated Xbox One X?
I did
No.
not.
24 karat gold.
I will sell that.
Man,
In a heartbeat.
yeah, it's like legit 24 karat. You can do it through the Xbox 5.
Dynamite. Okay.
So, anyways, bunch of resources on this one, or sources in general. The Xbox codename Scarlet, which is going to be the
Yeah,
Xbox
Wolfpack.
Tech Next or 2 or whatever they're going to end up calling it, is again being heavily rumored for a 2020 or 2021 release. But the interesting news that come out of that is that there is reportedly going to be the standardized console version, which is what we've already, understood for years and years: optical drive, built-in hard drive space,
Because they are terrified to do what they did last generation
Yeah.
or this
As they
generation.
should be.
power increase and everything else. But then there's also apparently supposed to be the cloud version, which is streaming only, from what I understand. No optical drive.
It's smart.
Limited
it's the
hard
direction-
drive space.
It's the direction everybody wants to go, anyways. But they're still going to offer the large amount of fans that don't want to go that way an option
it's a
this
good
It
time.
seems like they're
Measure.
missing a step to me. Like, release a console without a disk drive, but still have a full 1 terabyte or 2 terabyte hard drive in there. So you're not-
purchasable games and things like
Yeah.
that.
But like, just leave make
But I
it
think
$50 cheaper, $100 cheaper. Leave out the disk drive.
The whole point is so you don't have to build in the storage, and it makes it way cheaper
And
because
yeah,
it's
that
all
way they
cloud
can sell
storage.
it at half the price instead of at $50 cheaper.
Man, I just even we have some of the fastest internet. In the
Like they're
country,
throwing out like
and I don't know
$150
that.
for this right now.
Yeah.
If it's that cheap, then I definitely.
And
Don't
you
you
and you
also-
would play the same
Try.
level as the people that bought the
Yeah.
disc space.
Plus, there's like cloud DVR. I mean, you have it on your Hulu Live. I mean, they could do the same
Yeah,
thing
but
more or less on this.
streaming
yeah.
a video and streaming a video game are two different.
Well,
levels
that,
of-
it's
Yeah,
depends
one
on
of
how
them has a
far.
game
Well, it
added to
depends on how far the tech comes. Again, we were talking about that with Google's thing. Is they're talking about you can play it on an old PC because they're doing all the massive
doing all the
crunching, and then you're getting a pretty small. As long as you have like, if what they talked about came to pass, which is the only way this would work for Xbox as well, Microsoft, you would just have to have a solid internet connection, like the American average, which would exclude a lot of people, sadly, but the majority of people would be able to take advantage of that.
Well,
They also are
giving you
offering
the
2
option
SKUs
is
too.
a smart move.
I think this only, maybe doesn't only, but best takes off if they build in a subscription service to the cost of
Oh,
the
Game
console.
Pass is going well,
Like-
and it's going to be Game Pass.
That's what I'm saying. Like, if Game Pass is a mandatory for having it, a requirement,
There was one
essentially,
article that
and you get like a cheaper version for
they
having it.
had a source at Microsoft that was talking about how this was because Game Pass has done so well for them financially.
Mhm.
Like they maybe have like a little bit of a step on the future for like consoles, because Game Pass could be like the Steam of consoles. Because right now, like there's evidently they're negotiating with a ton of people to bring in like a lot into
Yeah.
Game Pass.
And I can see not necessarily it being like you get Game Pass free if you buy this Xbox, but I can see the first 3 months or even 6 months for free.
Well, I'm
or a
thinking
discounted
more
version.
like a $10 a month versus a $15 a month or something along those lines.
Because it is
Like,
10 now, but I could totally see if Game Pass became what it could be. Like I could easily see that being 20, 25 a month, and you just don't buy games anymore, which is still an amazing deal.
Yeah, if you're getting
That's a
a
good deal.
lot
They
of
don't-
new release games, I can see that. But unless you're getting a significant
That-
amount of new release games,
Which is what I'm
New
talking
release
about
to
15
happening.
seems
New
like the right
release third
price.
party. They
That's the
already
thing.
have
Yeah.
all the new
The con-
release Microsoft games.
The concern with this
now.
feature is they have to have game developers and publishers on board with
Which
the fact that they are going to be essentially streaming games. Like, no internal hard drive space means that people aren't going to be direct buying those games. They're going to have some sort of service, because otherwise you're asking the developers to either allow for a streaming version of that game through Microsoft servers directly, which could impact them if anything happens.
they're going to have to
outside their
operate
own-
on a cash flow business the same way that Netflix does. And luckily, Microsoft has got way more capital up front than what Netflix does, so they can start out way farther ahead in the game than
Right.
what Netflix had to. But I mean, Netflix burns more cash than what they actually have, but their stock worth is like 50 times what that is.
Right.
It's insane. Like they don't have as much actual cash as what they spend in a year, but their stock is up in like the high billions.
Right.
Yeah. It's an interesting look at the future. I mean, hopefully within the next year and a half, we've got a little bit more solid details. on
Yeah,
this.
we've got a ways before we hear
Um,
more, but also a lot depends on that tech becoming viable. That's not here yet.
Yeah, I mean,
So-
again, those are the plans right now, but infrastructure could potentially hurt that. Some of the middle parts of the country might be most, interested in a $150 console instead of a $500 console.
But do you have the
but
internet?
they don't have the infrastructure. Like the people,
You
who-
can't have satellite link up internet.
Yeah, and I'm
do
not
this.
trying
Yeah.
to be like disparaging of certain parts of the country or anything, but the quote unquote flyover states are lower income. They would more be beneficial of a cheaper console, but they're not the ones who have the ability to take advantage.
Well, and internet's become far more widespread
Better,
over the past
but-
5 years. I mean, you've got to get pretty rural before you start losing internet now,
Yeah.
as far as like fast internet.
I also could see a lot of this heavily hinging on the implementation of 5G mobile networking nationwide as well. If you look at some of the speed tests and like things that were going on,
Hotspotting
yeah.
off of that, get an unlimited plan if you can't get that, and then just constant run a hotspot in
Yeah.
your.
I mean,
My
like,
in-laws do something similar at their house because they live out in weird Charleston.
but like if you can get 5G, like the potential speeds of 5G are higher than most people's in-home internet now.
Mm.
I don't know if it's strong enough necessarily, but it's definitely a move in the right direction.
All this sounds great. We just have to make sure it all works. Like the technology exists for like that whole like crunching down of the data, and you get like the finished smaller file. But is it refined? There's no way.
Yeah.
So, I am, speaking of this news, getting a new Xbox in the next few months.
Getting the One
So that was going to be my question, especially with,
X.
in a couple of years, potentially a new Xbox coming down the pipeline. So I'm giving my current Xbox One S to Lane, and then I'm replacing it with something.
I mean, you're either getting an S or an X.
or an X. So that's my man. I can get an S right now for $200. It's like double that, if not more, for a new X. Like I'm trying to debate if that is worth the investment, given that I will probably in 2 more years buy whatever
So-
this new one is.
Man,
whether
this
it's
700
150 or
credit score is
500.
opening up all the
That's
doors.
what I'm saying. I mean, really, you should be buying everybody here X's. But
You guys know they just don't give you money for your credit score, right?
no, but you can put it on a damn card.
I can, and then my credit score will go down.
If you don't pay it off.
Yeah, you got to pay it off.
49%.
All right, I'll keep that in
You
mind.
just throw out numbers.
No, that's true.
Okay.
Hey Chuck,
Yo,
22%.
gotcha.
You know.
You didn't
So
wink at him.
X or S?
I
Can't
still,
wink, Josh. Don't make fun of me.
I still say X. You've got a
Can you
4K
not?
TV.
No, I can't. I'm just.
Oh,
You've
If
got
you
a
wanna take
4K
advantage of 4K TV,
like,
you should
I
just
don't
buy
I
it.
have a 4K TV, but it's not like true 4K. It's whatever.
No, there's
Checkerboarding?
either 4K or there's not. You don't have HDR, maybe.
Okay, maybe whatever. I don't have the whatever the top of the line.
You don't have 4K
Video
HDR,
format
and
is
HDR
currently
is what kind of is like the
It's
color
one of the
pop.
yeah, it's one of the better parts of having the TV that I got. But
4K still makes a difference.
yeah, and it's
You also have
still
high
gonna run
refresh rate,
game-
which runs better on an X.
Exactly. And I don't understand. Like, I get wanting to save money. Obviously, trust me, I always want to. But I don't get if you're making the investment to buy another Xbox right now. I would not base your purchasing decision off of rumors and speculation. And if it really comes down to it, you already have an Xbox S. When it comes out, you'll get a higher trade value for the X if you
No,
wanted to
I
do
get that. I guess it's more. It's also the fact that like I'm trying to debate is is the X $300 better than the S?
The most important question:
Right now.
if you bought an Xbox One X, would you actually use it for games?
Sometimes.
Then buy the X.
Because
I have lots of games I'm playing this fall.
my 4K TV that I have, like on my my original Xbox One, when I played Grand Theft Auto Online, the top corner's blurred because I have a fast refresh rate, and that could not keep up.
Gotcha.
My X, like, it looks gorgeous.
Man, I wish maybe they'll.
S
cut a deal
runs
on
better
Black Friday
than
or something.
original. Like
totally
it's just and it upscales to 4K. But I mean the One X is the only thing running at true native 4K right now.
Right.
yeah, $300 though, man.
Yeah, it's a lot of
That
money,
is
man.
a lot of beef and cheddars.
It's so many beef and cheddars. Whatever 300 divided by 6 is.
And you get two.
You get 2 with bacon.
So moving on.
That
from
choice seems pretty easy then.
Yeah, the beef and cheddars.
yeah, you have
Uh,
a throne of beef and cheddars that you can slowly eat.
Well, I'm
As
gonna do
you
that
play
math
on your
real quick.
S.
That's the
he would never slowly eat a throne of bacon. Jesus,
There it went.
bacon beef and cheddars. Wasn't that a thing we talked about a while ago?
Carbies.
Carbies, indeed. EA done fucked up.
I mean, what day is it?
It ends in a Y, so yes. This time,
100 bacon beef and cheddars that I could potentially get instead of an Xbox One X.
did you wait? Never mind.
What?
It was literally 2 calculations.
It was. I wanted to make sure I had it right.
I was gonna say. I mean, it was really easy math.
Yeah.
Fuck you guys.
Anyway,
I'm gonna go back to not talking on this show.
so early editions of Madden NFL 19 have been released for people on what is it? The EA
Access.
Access. Thank you. I almost said Origin. That's
I
just
bet
the
it's
platform.
fucked up.
The game actually not so bad.
Oh.
apparently.
The last
problem
game wasn't
is
fucked up either.
the soundtrack
Uh-huh.
featured a song by one Big Sean. I believe he's of the Tupac variety, and it had a lyric referencing Colin Kaepernick in it. EA decided to just scrub that name entirely from the song and leave the song on
Wow.
the soundtrack to begin with.
I mean,
How?
That was stupid.
How do you fuck up like that? It's the one thing. If you talk about the NFL with any human being right now, you're gonna get the Colin Kaepernick situation or the kneeling and protesting in general. How do you
Which is the
not?
Colin Kaepernick situation.
That's what I'm saying. Like, how do you fuck that up?
You
the
cannot take
NFL
that
probably
song.
told them to.
Well, then you take
Take the song out. Pay whatever royalties you have to and take the song out.
Oh no, yeah, but EA's dumb.
They are really dumb.
Yeah,
They
they're really
they
bad
got
at being business
busted
people.
and then had to issue an apology like hours later.
Well, the worst
It was
was they acted like it was an accident.
yeah,
They're like, "Oh, we had some bad information and thought we had to do that." Yeah,
Like the
Just
NFL
blame it on
required them
BioWare like
to.
you do
they wouldn't
everything else.
elaborate on it. They just thought that there was an existing stipulation in place that they had to. I mean, this is
they can't
paraphrasing.
say Colin Kaepernick's name in video games.
Basically, I mean,
I
they
could-
are.
I could honestly see.
They
Roger
have an
Goodell being some
exclusive
kind of a douche
like
that.
partnership with the NFL. I could 100% see the NFL doing that.
I'm so ready.
And then
for
they
this.
got barred from
Good luck.
being able to say that.
I'm just ready for this conversation to be over. Like I,
every time
You
it
got
dies down,
years.
Jerry
The
Jones. speaks.
NFL is too.
yeah, I understand that. We won't get
They
into
losing money.
We won't get into the political side of things and what side we stand on. And I just want to be able to enjoy football without having to hear the
I'm
debate.
really curious what the first game of the year looks like.
I don't
this
care.
season.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be football. We already had the Hall of Fame game. Like, I mean, at this point, it's required they stand. So,
No, it's not.
No, they
did they play?
yeah, they reversed it like a day later.
I must have missed that story.
They pulled it,
Dude,
and then
that's what I
Jerry
was
Jones
saying.
opened
Yeah,
his
Jerry
mouth,
Jones was like,
Now, if you're a
they're fucking
Cowboy, you have to
standing.
stand because they're America's team.
and then
I kind of get that,
and then
but
he refused to take his hat off during the national anthem. After that, his son was like, "Take the hat off." He's like, "No, take the hat off." No. It's like,
you keep being surprised by Jerry Jones being a
he's just
douchebag.
such a dick, man. I hate him so
He is.
much.
That's what he does.
I hate him so much. They should just go back to 2009, where players didn't come out on the field. Just go back to that.
I thought you meant Madden 2009, and I was like,
Yeah!
well, as long as it's not 04, we're good.
Yeah,
Who was on
No,
the cover
no, no.
of 09?
Mike Vick on my team.
That's some Tupac right there.
That was the most bullshit. Like, I'm gonna just choose an unstoppable force. God damn it! It made me so mad, but it was a smart pick. Stay tuned to the future for that. Last story of the day, though.
Stay tuned to the future.
Damn right.
Everybody.
Last story we're going to cover this week broke early this morning, late last night. That would be Monday or Tuesday for people watching this on Thursday when we release it.
Maybe.
Right, Trey?
Fuck you. You don't know.
Hey, Trey, podcasts.
Eh.
Okay. IGN posted their Dead Cells review, which is a Metroidvania game, a roguelite that came out in early access about a year ago, has gotten a lot of hype, and got full released on Switch this week. Philip Mewson, who is the lead editor for the Nintendo team at IGN, joined in October of last year. Full disclosure, my brother Rob is good friends with him. He had actually podcasted with him a couple of times, many times actually, prior to him being hired at
What's this guy's name
IGN.
again?
Philip
Sorry.
Mewson.
Okay.
So I kind of have a little bit more sympathy maybe toward the situation in general, but it was released by a smaller YouTube but pretty popular channel called Boomstick Gaming.
Yeah, his name is. He goes by Deadite. Yeah.
Basically, almost verbatim, word for word plagiarism in his video review.
Oh, he plagiarized it. There's no doubt.
It sucks, man.
There's
Like,
never been that many coincidences.
So he's basically just reading the written review.
He
from this
tried
other
to like
place?
reword some of it in the first half, and then in the second half, it's
it
almost
got,
like
real
verbatim.
verbatim. Like so,
Like it don't.
Boomstick
That
I didn't get
YouTube-
a chance to like. read
Boomstick
this.
only has 14,000 followers, which is for a regular person, that's
a shit ton.
that's well done.
I would enjoy it.
But-
almost as many as we
14.
have.
But in the grand scheme of
Thousands
things,
of
you know,
episodes.
IGN, I guess he thought that someone's not going to notice, but you know, if he's a video gamer that has 14, he probably follows IGN
Yeah.
to see what they're saying about games, and he probably follows Kotaku and Game Informer and all that, like we
Sure.
all do. This was monumentally stupid.
yeah, they were both video reviews.
Like, I don't know this guy, and I'm sure he's probably a good dude. People make mistakes, but this was stupid.
Yeah, that dude's not working at IGN anymore.
He was on a deadline. He drank all weekend, and he just there's something out there that he didn't think was going to get
Maybe,
caught.
I don't
mean,
know.
honestly, it's probably something very similar to that. He had posted a couple days ago how excited he was to be editing his first individual, like him as the editor video review for Dead Cells, and
Oh man, it's his
Like,
first one.
that's what I'm
and
saying.
last.
He joined in October of last year.
Oh
like,
god damn.
So here are some of the quotes, but basically they were both video reviews. They're almost identical in length, and they actually go into the kind of verdict of the game,
Yeah.
literally
He
at 3
had-
minutes and 7 seconds each.
Yeah, and he has a side-by-side video up, like on his channel, like because he was like asking, he's like, I don't know what to do, but I'm pretty sure IGN copied me.
Yeah, like it's real
Dude,
unfortunate,
really?
but
That's incredible.
yeah, so like this is a little long-winded, but in the original review, 15 seconds in Dead Cells, you will need to kill your way through a labyrinth of levels, all punctuated by boss encounters that start off quite linear, but the more you play, the more routes and game mechanics will open up to you. You might not be able to make it to the final boss on your current run, but if you can manage to salvage some blueprints for new gear, or better yet, an ability, it makes it all worth your while. And then IGN at 25 seconds in Dead Cells, you fight your way through an ever-changing labyrinth of levels with branching paths. You're almost guaranteed not to make it all the way through on every run, but as your efforts lead you to blueprints that unlock new gear, it makes it all worth your while.
Ooh.
Yep.
That's the more vague of iffy.
It is. It becomes significantly more. Like he says, like specific, like slightly falters, like is the exact phrasing that both of them use at different points. The structure is very similar. Like when I first started watching the video this morning, I didn't make it all the way through because the first couple examples I was like, this is just either being read off of a hot sheet like a press release, like these are some talking points for the game, or it's just very basic stating of how a roguelite works and how a Metroidvania game works.
When you start seeing the
But
timing and everything,
the structure and everything else, and it does suck because I can only imagine, this guy, Philip, is newer. He's hosting their Nintendo podcast. They do it live every week now, so he's probably putting a lot of his work and effort into that. He hasn't had a review on this scale before, and is hitting a deadline. I can see him thinking, first of all, this guy, Boomstick Gaming, they posted their review a week prior to the actual embargo for the game, but he based it off of the early access, so it's okay.
yeah.
But he may be thinking maybe nobody's looking for this kind of stuff. Or we also don't know how IGN vets their reviews. Like it seems almost impossible.
Clearly, he got
for them.
past the original.
I mean, they publish, from what I understand, they publish their own articles. They publish their own videos. Everybody has their own essential login. They write up the coding and everything else. I have a hard time believing that a site that posts hundreds of game reviews a year is scouring the internet for verbatim word-for-word copies. I believe they have the infrastructure in place where they trust their reviewers.
Oh, I'm sure
And let them
IGN will come out
publish.
fine on this. I just don't think this guy might.
No, he's not. But I'll tell you one thing: that Boomstick guy got a lot.
He
more
hit the
followers.
lottery.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
He is
Not-
the
not
best thing
only-
that ever happened to him is IGN plagiarizing
Correct.
him.
Yeah, not only is he going to be much more famous and people are going to know who he is, but there's no way he doesn't get some money out of this. from
I
IGN.
also-
There'll be some sort of
He might get a
maybe
job.
monetary.
Either a job or, but at the very least, a
Affiliate, or I watched,
settlement. I mean, they made ad dollars on his content.
and I actually watched
Oh,
a
yeah,
couple of
that's
his
a good
videos
point.
today. He's actually pretty good too. Like I appreciated his reviews. I thought he was well spoken and
mean,
He just
He's
takes
thoughtful.
over all this guy's responsibility.
He's as popular as he is, like, for a reason. I mean, it really sucks. Like I said, I am a little sympathetic towards Phil, only because I just can't imagine what that would feel like.
oh, that
but
sucks.
I mean, I guarantee, like, man, I was thinking about it. I was talking with my brother about it earlier today. Like, imagine sitting in that conference room or sitting in the middle of that newsroom or whatever, like, and having to answer for this in
You're
front
sitting
of
at home and you start getting texts and you're like, oh,
like, apparently
fired.
the interviews at IGN, like, the entire editorial staff is there for your final interview, so you're basically being interviewed by everybody who's going to be your coworkers.
Yeah.
You're talking about your passion for gaming, and Brian Altano was in the Comedy Button group after this. He can't release any official statement, but he's like, if this is what it appears to be, it's fucking devastating. We hire everybody for
Yeah, they become like family.
Yeah, we hire everybody for their individual passions, and you're expected to be able to speak on that. He's like, it fucking pisses me off. And he wasn't like throwing Philip under the bus. It was just in general, like, IGN is one of the sites, many sites, that has to deal with, you guys are paid for reviews and all this other bullshit. To have this come out and really seemingly at the hands of really just one person, it's real shitty, and it sets back people's trust in these kinds of sites to begin with, which is the worst.
The vultures are going to come out for future reviews too.
Oh, yeah.
People are just going to be.
Well, I mean, at
hawking
this
them
point,
like
everybody's going to be
crazy.
scouring everything. They're going to be checking,
Yeah.
Yep.
fairly well-known YouTubers, and
That's
and
when it would fuck IGN, as if
more than that came out.
if
They went back
even
into old
one
ones?
more, but especially like several more, that would be real bad.
You know,
Yeah,
they
I mean-
are currently right now
Oh,
going
they
through.
are doing an internal
Before
Please.
any statement comes out, they are like deep dive into every review we have.
Please,
and
please let it be one of ours for freeforgeeks.com.
Um,
They
be the
got
best.
real fucking desperate.
You don't know how far it goes back. Evan's True Detective Season 1 review was on point, sir.
this guy
On
gets it.
I won't
point.
as
argue
was
with
my
that.
Last of Us review.
No, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles is what you should have gone with.
You're right. It was a 7.5. It's a
By the
very
way-
good 7.5.
Quick correction, it's on all the consoles now. That's it's not just Switch.
Yeah. It was the big news was it was the Switch version that was being. Yeah, sorry if I wasn't clear about that.
I was going to get on Switch, but I got an Xbox so you can play.
I really, really want to play it. I heard it's awesome.
I think
love
I'm going to buy
Metroidvanias.
just my own copy of Minute. It's only $10, and that game would play well on Switch.
That's fair on Switch. I was about to say on Xbox you're about like halfway through.
Oh, I know. That game seems like if I'm bored at work or something,
You can just
Switch.
pop out the Switch.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and because graphically it's black and white, like low res game.
We'll talk about that on the next show, though. It's an interesting conversation about games journalism and games reviews in general. It sucks that it's happened. Philip's probably not going to work in this industry again.
At least not IGN.
We should say
He could
IGN
change his
immediately
name.
when it was brought to their attention. They pulled the review and immediately stated that essentially we're aware of the situation, we're reviewing it, and follow from that company. And like to see one person do that, and again, I don't know his motives. It sucks.
Maybe Marty plagiarized too.
They have definitely fired that dude.
Oh, really?
That's happened recently. Then
Yeah, because it hadn't happened earlier today.
Kentucky.
He hadn't reached out to him yet. I don't want to put too much of that personal stuff, but he still talked to him every once in a while. So
yeah,
I'd be
mean,
interested to hear personal. Not going to share that.
everybody makes
information.
mistakes. He made a
Um,
real big fucking mistake. I mean, that doesn't mean he's not a good person at heart. He just
Yeah.
made a really dumb decision.
If he wants to come be on our podcast, I'll buy him a beer.
I would advertise that he was going to be on. We would have huge numbers.
We'll
Yeah.
get him and Adam Orth together. We'll talk about
Oh
that.
my god, I'm not leaving the show if we're doing that.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
My time has come.
But anyway, make sure you guys tune into our next show where we talk about all the new games that we're playing, and man, are they new and plentiful.
Yeah.
Thank you guys so much.
Mm-hmm.
It's good discussions there.